what we're really looking for is inspired design, which means in fact a combination of spirited invention and sophisticated technologies and a real enjoyment in what is being made and the way it contributes to the community and the landscape at large. The important thing about an historic city is that it never dies. It may have a very ancient history, but in fact it also has a very important future. And all the buildings that are being made today and all the preservation exercises of the present day are in fact the history of the future.
The public toilets was an eyesore and a management headache, but also the park, the entrances to the park. There was a fantastic opportunity for a new entrance to the park off the riverside.
And what did it power? It was a waterworks?
It was a water, yeah.
There was a Smeaton engine in there.
That's right.
Oh,
Very new.
right.
Yeah.
I haven't had the pleasure.
And this was the engine house for it, which has been converted and knocked about for various things over its time. After it stopped becoming the engine house. I'm Matt Parkins from CSB Architects in York. We're the designers of the new Star in the City. I think the most important bit about the project is the way it faces all sides and responds to, because it's front of house on all sides, it faces Museum Gardens on one side, the riverside on the other side, and connects to the existing heritage building on the fourth side, and so it responds in all directions. We'd be delighted to win a York Design Award. As one of York's practices, it's very important for us to be seen, to be recognised as making a contribution to York's townscape.
So, if you can imagine the rear of this, within 2 metres of this wall here, there was a 2- and 3-storey operating theatre, lift shafts, and it was just horrible. So the balancing act of this was to demolish square footage, which is valuable, but retain some quality about the building. That's a new wall in the original line. So all that, we found the original drawings to brought all the rear back to the original.
Rebuilt as a cavity wall?
We've rebuilt that as a cavity wall.
Because these are all 9 or...
Yes, these are 9-inch walls, 9-inch. I'm Mike Green from Gem Construction. We're at the York Puricust, former nursing home and now residential accommodation. Working very closely with the listed building and the York planners who have enabled us to provide what we have today. Winning the award would certainly be the final stamp of approval on what is probably the North's greatest housing development.
I'm Stephen Parry and I'm the architect for St Giles Church, Copmanthorpe. This is an extension to provide an entrance facility to the church to link an existing ancient church to a more recent addition on its north side, so extended at the west end to make what we call a narthex with toilet accommodation and rebuilding an original porch to create the entrance into the ancient church. Everybody's been really pleased with it. It's gone down very, very well. It's enabled the church to do a lot of things it couldn't do in the past, or do things rather better perhaps than it could do in the past in terms of community facilities, and it's also helped worship. Processions and things like that can take place now, which they couldn't quite do before.
First, it's really fascinating to see what's out there. So as a profession, I'm just nosy, and I love to see what other professions are doing and what non-professionals are doing as well. And that's quite a privilege. But then to be able to go back to my own work, my own practice, and to be able to see what I can improve in my own work, you become very critical about your own work as well. So it kind of works both ways. I find that really fascinating. And to be able to take back into the office, to the partners there and to my colleagues, like, look what's happening in the rest of the world sort of thing. There's some really good practice, and that detail hasn't worked, we should avoid that sort of thing. So it becomes a really good conversation within the practice as well.